What is going on, Guardians, and welcome to another Destiny 2 video. In today's video, we are going to be talking if Bungie and Destiny 2 is sacrificing PVE for the sake of PvP. Now, as you guys know, I play both modes and enjoy both modes quite often, but do we really need to sacrifice one for the other? Let's go ahead and find out. Sacrifice. So let's go ahead and talk about what we're sacrificing, what are we giving up in regards to PvP and PvE. So as you guys know, when Destiny first launched, Destiny 1 was primarily focused, 80% I would say was focused into PvE, and 20% was focused into PvP. What happened with the game is throughout Destiny 1 is that everybody started playing the PvE content, but the PvE content got a bit dried out. So when this happened, a lot of people switched over and started playing PvP, and actually PvP was pretty fun, not gonna lie. It was actually pretty fun. You would go into Crucible, play a little bit, then we got Trials, and then Trials made it even more competitive and more sweaty. People wanted to get more involved and participate more in PvP. The game actually got a big boost from the PvP community because it kind of kept the game alive throughout the times that it was dry. Even right now, people still play Trials of Osiris. You know, they just come back throughout the weekends just to play Trials. They don't play the game at all throughout the week, but throughout the weekend, they make it a habit to play Trials. Now, in all fairness, this is actually pretty good because, you know, you have the PvE aspect, you have the PvP aspect, which makes a game very good. But in Destiny 2, we are having to sacrifice some of the elements that make PvE great for PvP. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. All I'm saying is, do we really need to sacrifice this? Can't we just separate both of them and make them both work? Let's talk about the first point that I want to make, which is the heavy slot. How in the world do you put a sniper in a heavy slot, put a rocket in a heavy slot, and not allow people to use both of them? I mean, can you imagine doing a Kingsfall raid without a sniper? Or just overall in general trying to do any sort of raid without a sniper? Even the Wrath of the Machine requires you to have a sniper and a heavy. But now in Destiny 2, you have to make a choice. Do I want to use a rocket launcher? Do I want to use a heavy? I do understand the reason behind this and the logic that, yes, I want to make the raid a little bit more difficult. We don't want to make it easy. We don't want to make it where 6 people go with a rocket and they just kill the boss and melt them down real quickly. I understand that. I get trying to make the raid a lot more difficult, but hey, make the raid more difficult. Put harder mechanics. Make it harder for people to actually be able to complete a raid. Instead of having to sacrifice weapons, make the raids harder. Why is it so hard to make the raids harder? Instead of having us to sacrifice the heavy, sacrifice the sniper, and decide which one we want to use when both of them work so well. And this is called synergy. That's why you got to make things work. You have your primary weapon, you have your special weapon, and then you have your heavy weapon. Why make it where a sniper is considered a heavy? I understand that works in PvP, and I get it, but it does not work well in PvE. I don't know if it's just me, but it just doesn't work for me. If it works for you, let me know in the comment section below, why do you think it works? But to me, it just doesn't work. Next up, let's talk about the removal of discipline, strength, and intellect. Okay, as you guys know, discipline, strength, and intellect are no longer a thing in Destiny 2. And you're probably wondering, this is really not a big deal. I mean, this doesn't really matter. But yes, it does matter, fellas, especially in PvE, guys. Remember, in order for things to work and work as a cohesive unit, kind of have a synergy max to it, you had to have a certain build that allowed you to get your super and your ability that much quicker because things were working in cohesive atmosphere. If you would melee someone, you would regenerate a grenade. If you would throw a grenade, you would regenerate your melee. Your melee would cause you to get your super a lot quicker, which caused you to do and perform a lot better when you're doing a raid. Synergy is very crucial to Destiny and is one of the parts that made Destiny really good. Now, the removal of intellect and discipline and strength will take that synergy and make it where synergy does not play an important factor within the game. This is something that I think should definitely be addressed, and I hope that there's something worked, or maybe in the gear something comes that allows you to perform this type of synergy with your character. But if it doesn't, this really does affect PvE. Now, I do understand why it makes sense once again in PvP. It makes perfect sense in PvP, but it doesn't make sense in PvE. The last sacrifice I want to talk to you guys about is the subclass build. As you guys know, currently right now in Destiny 2, we will get a thing called paths. Paths are pretty much an option that's going to allow us to pick which path we want to use. We cannot change this. This is just by default that path. So basically what they're saying is you have to run it this way. Either you pick this one or you pick this one. Now, in Destiny 1, we had the ability to not only choose and tinker around with different subclasses perks, but we were able to actually move and have more options until what we actually wanted to work for us. Yes, not a lot of people ran different builds or ran different sorts of setups. You know, the majority of the community almost entirely ran the same setups. But that option to have freedom and the option to actually be able to test different stuff out and give you the ability to not only see why stuff works and why stuff doesn't work made the game very intriguing and very interesting. It allowed you to play with different forms of aspects and move things around. But it worked very well for PvE, but it doesn't work well for PvP. So what happened? They decided to go ahead and make the change so it could work for PvP. Yes, of course. Being able to set certain paths and making certain things are not selectable together because they become a little bit OP in PvP is understandable. But they do not work in PvE. PvE is a different animal. It seems like Destiny 2 has decided, okay, you know what? Destiny 2 is going to be primarily focused on PvP. We're going to, do a lot of brainstorming on how we can make PvP better. And with that mindset, they went ahead and sacrificed what worked very well in PvE to make stuff work well in PvP. Now, it's a bit upsetting for me because when I picked up Destiny, I did pick it up for the PvE aspect. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure the majority of you who picked up Destiny 1 picked it up for the PvE aspect. I'm not gonna lie as well, I do enjoy PvP, but in my personal point of view, Destiny should focus a lot in its PvE content, which is what made the game great in Destiny 1. Don't get me wrong, if you love PvP, I love PvP as well, but I think we need to work together where we can make not only the PvE great, but where we can make the PvP great as well, and we don't have to sacrifice one or the other. But I want to know from you guys, what do you guys mostly play? Do you mostly play PvE? Do you mostly play PvP? And what did you pick up Destiny 1 for PvE or PvP? And what would you like to see in Destiny 2? Would you like to see a more PvE focus or a more PvP focus? Let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it informative. Now, if you did, please remember to help me out by liking the video and most importantly, sharing the video with your friends. If you want to stay up to date with all things Destiny 2, make sure you hit that sub button. And if you want to get in touch with me and stay informed on the latest things that are happening in the channel, the best way is to hit me up on Twitter at GFLaserbolt. The link is down below, and also follow me on Twitch. If you would like to support the channel, you can always join the Laser Nation by supporting us via Patreon. Once again, the link is also down below. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys on the next video.